You're a Christian singer, a musician, a worship leader, or a hip hop or spoken word artist, and you're looking for a platform to share your work. If so, I have exciting news for you. TPI is accepting submissions for music videos to air on the program. So please send a downloadable link of your music video and the song lyrics, the song copyright details and publishing details to tpimusic@cbn.org. Who knows, maybe one day I'll be introducing you to the world. I've got a guest for you, a young lady with an incredible story and an incredible voice. And you've seen her in the videos and the likes. And she's got one of her own songs that's coming out in a couple of days' time. From Maverick City Music, welcome, Naomi Raine. Naomi, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, this is it's so kind of you because you guys are in the middle of a lot of prep. I mean, Instagram is awash with Kirk and Chandler and all the rest of your team, and it's a lot of work. And in the middle of that, you've taken time to speak to us. So thank you so much, Naomi, for that. Straight off the bat, I want to say one of the main reasons we're speaking is because you got a new song that's coming out, a new project that's coming out, and I really want to talk to you about that project. But before we jump into that, Naomi, you come from a family of singers, worship leaders. For those who may not know, you started out very young. You know church back to front. You were writing songs before the age of 10, and you've traveled all around the world. But here is the question. One of the questions I have: how have you managed to keep your life so private with all the public things you do? Because when people start digging, they hit a brick wall with Naomi. It's like, wow, how have you managed to do that?
Oh, that means you've been trying to find some things out. You're trying to dig up some dirt. There's no dirt. There's no real dirt. But you know what? I think it is. I try to be super honest and forthcoming. So I don't think anybody has ever maybe tried to rat me out or do something. I try to stay out of other people's business, and I mind my own business, and I just want to sing to Jesus. That's it.
So one of the reasons I was keen to talk, and I have to say I loved your record that's been released, and I certainly I mean, on TPI the presenter. So I'm in London. I live in London, even though I do the show with CBN in Virginia Beach, and I would normally travel, but COVID is had us grounded. Yeah. The producers in Virginia Beach, they loved your stuff, and of course, you know, at the moment the whole world loves anything that comes out of Maverick City. But I got to listen to the single, and I was so smitten by it. And I thought, man, we've got to get it on the radio station here in London. Now, here is what struck me, and these are some of the lyrics of your song. I know I need to pray, but I don't know how to say I'm not ready. I'm not ready to change. I want to trust you, but if I told you the truth, as though he can't see our hearts, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to change. No. I was bowled over by that, by the honesty of the lyrics, considering much of the time we'll say, oh God, I'm going to love you forever. Like, you don't even know what you're going to do in 2 minutes. Right. And you're telling God you're going to love him forever. Tell us about the journey to the song, because here you are, as I said, I mean, you were born in church, grew up in church, grew up with ministers, you've traveled around the world. And here you are after all this saying, I know I need to pray, but I don't know how to say I'm not ready.
Yeah, I think the growing up in church part is really what did it. I think I had learned how to be a good girl, right? And how to do all the right things and say the right things so that I could be accepted. And not really by God, by people. And I've always had a super dope relationship with the Lord in terms of like we could talk about anything. But I think, the thing that people do where we tell God that we don't want to pray, but literally once you told God you were praying, we have an idea or a thought about what prayer is and really miss sometimes that it's just communicating with him. And so I've found myself in a depression and that I didn't even know I was in because I was still in pretend mode. And so I would some days I would even miss waking up to get my kids out. My mom helps me a lot. And so she was getting my son out to school. And I was just in a funk and it was hard. I was staying in bed up until they were coming home. So when they got home, I was like making sure I was out so that they wouldn't see that. But I was crying a lot. I was crying almost every single day. And I didn't even know that was a depression. And I was hiding it and getting up, doing whatever I had to do and moving on. And I had a friend tell me, hey, do you know that like, I think you were in a depression. This is like toward the end of it. Like, I think you were in a depression. And I'm like, no, couldn't be, I was like, well, why didn't you say something when I was depressed? And he's like, yeah, if I would have told you then, like, he's like, I couldn't tell you then. Cause if I would have told you, you probably would have just completely fallen apart. And so I realized afterward, and I wanted to write a song about that space that I was in as I began to write again, because I didn't want to write music. I didn't want to write songs. I was kind of like, ugh. But I was starting to tell the Lord, like, God, I just need help. Like whatever you can do for me, please do it. And that's a weird prayer for me because I was always the Christian little girl who knew the right things to pray, the right things to say, and if you go through this, then you got this, always had some wisdom and the Holy Spirit was telling me all the things, but I'd never been in this position where I really was like, God, if you don't help me, like daddy can't help me, mommy can't help me. I'm in a space that I need help, and I wasn't ready to really do anything about it, but I at least knew where I needed to go. And as I began to pray that, I said, I want to write a song about that. I want to write an honest song that doesn't resolve. I don't want it to be like, you brought me out of the pit, Jesus. I wanted to write a song about the pit. And this is where I am. How can I actually get out of this pit? And I believe that the song is something that helped me actually deal with my feelings and what was going on the inside of me, what the Lord was stripping off, what the Lord was encouraging me in. And honestly, I ended up getting out of the pit and I wrote the song and I'm singing it and I'm releasing it. And I don't know how everybody is going to receive it, but I'm hoping that it can be an honest moment where people can say, hey, sometimes you're just down in a pit, but you remember and realize that Jesus is with you.
So let me ask you this, and this is so pertinent for me. I didn't know we were going to go this way. I had a conversation with a niece of mine, one of my beloved. She's in her teens, and she just had a major meltdown because of fear and worry. And one of the things I know about her and about the family around is most of the family around, because we're Nigerians, most of the family around her is, come on, pull yourself together. Can't you see how lucky you are? Look at your family, so well to do. And when I sat down to talk to her, I realized, goodness, there was just so much to unravel that it seemed unfair to be telling her, pull yourself together. For someone who, and if you could speak to two groups of people for me, for someone like my niece, if she was watching this, she's a teenager, how do you, having been through what you've been through, let her know that, and this might sound odd, that it's okay to be where you are, but even though it's not okay, it's okay, because though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you're with me. Right. How do you communicate that to a teenager?
Well, I mean, so I have beliefs about emotions that I don't think everybody shares. And I don't think we're always taught that, especially as African people, right? We're very like, come on. Even African American, it's like, get it together. We don't have time, like, let's go. And I used to think that was just a Black thing. And then when I visited and met more African people, I said, oh no, this is just us, right? Like we kind of have like a, come on, let's get it. I don't know that we always understand emotions and accept them for what they are. I think sadness is very good for us. I don't think it feels good though, but I think sadness, mourning, grief, those are things that we have to learn how to handle and deal with. And the more that you don't handle it, the more that you don't deal with it, the more it piles up, and then it can become unhealthy. It's almost like oh, I always have like a bodily thing, like almost like allergies. So your body, your the allergic response is a response to like histamines coming because it's trying to protect you. Your body's trying to protect you. So this is a good thing that our body does to protect us. But when it goes into overcorrection mode, it actually begins to make us feel miserable. And so I think that you have to we have to teach our children how to feel emotions, but not let the emotions take over us. We have to learn emotional regulation. We have to learn that anger is okay in certain situations, and this is how we deal with it, to talk through it, to write it out, and get creative outlets. I think that by the time you're a teenager, that there's so much going on that you can't control, right? And she's just lived through a pandemic, and there's just so much
Now,
going
by the way,
on.
we have to say that you're qualified to speak to teenagers because you a couple of them yourself.
Yes, I do. My son will be 13 and my daughter be 16 in July. Yep.
Okay.
And I've seen it. And I think children need a space to be. I think sometimes we're trying to put our stuff on them, and it's a lot of pressure. I'm learning how to allow my children to be themselves when they feel these emotions, and now say, okay, now how can we deal with these emotions that we have without ruining someone else's life, right? But also making sure that we've expressed ourselves, and now we can control ourselves. I tell my kids all the time, self-control is a fruit of the spirit. And so that's something that we're looking for. But there's also other things that you can feel and express. And I need to validate, okay, I get where you're coming from. This is real. But now let me tell you the truth. And so I think the other half of that is telling children the truth and dealing with the lies of the enemy, that the enemy tries to tell us to get us off track and to get us almost bewildered in confusion and mess. And so some of that, is just like, hey, you got to understand the truth about who you are, about what's going to be. Everything will be okay. And that Proverbs 3:4 through 6, like that has blessed me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. That has literally saved my life. And even when I felt like I was in the valley, I knew I didn't have to be afraid of what was going to happen. I could walk through this valley. I'm going to make it through because Jesus is with me.
So let me ask you, going back to your song, Not Ready. So you've spoken to a teenager who may be in a funk, and hopefully they've heard that actually your emotions are an indication that you're alive, and just don't ruin your life or ruin somebody else's life. Now speak to the other people, the adults, the friends, the well-wishers, who are around, who are saying, come on, we have the victory, get a grip, and look at the lyrics of your song and say, is this, Naomi, is this theologically sound? I know I need to pray. I'm not ready. What's this? What Bible verse is that?
Well, to these people, I would say, no, it is not a Bible verse. But actually, I probably could find a bunch of that in the Psalms, right? When we see David saying, oh, Lord, like my enemies have come for me and I feel like you've forsaken me. Why have you we can see, even Jesus said that. Oh, Lord, my God, like, why has thou forsaken me? There are moments of despair. Paul is writing to people from prison, and he's saying, sometimes I just wish I wasn't even alive anymore. These are the words of the great men of faith, right? And people that we see in our Bible. And just because those words exist doesn't negate the goodness, the truth, the power, and the righteousness and justice of God. But I do know that the Lord allowed Joseph to lie in that pit, right? for however long he needed to lie there. The Lord allowed Joseph to be in that jail. There was a promise over his life. He had a dream. He had purpose, but he allowed Joseph to stay in that jail. And I'm sure, y'all, I'm so sure that Joseph was not like, oh, and that was not his praise every single day. I'm sure that he was like, man, why am I down here? The cupbearer done forgot about me. Like, I told him the dream and I got him free, and he's forgotten about me, even in the jail cell. But when the time was right, the Lord was able to deliver him out, and the things came to pass. I think that it's okay to sing a song because music is art, right? And art, that I believe that our music and our art should all glorify God and point people back to him. And that's what I believe that the song does. If you follow and listen to the whole thing, even though it doesn't tie up in a neat bow. And now I'm not at the end saying, I'm ready to change. I'm not singing it at the end, but the song does bring you back to the place of saying, in the bridge, it says like, help me remember all of the plans that we made when we were both on the same page. I'm asking the Lord, remind me of the promises that you made to me. Remind me of the plans that you had for me when I was in a good space. I need to remember. It's a song that's going back to the Lord. And so that's the point. I think my prayer is that when people hear this song, that they would know, no matter what situation I'm in, whether I'm feeling good or I'm feeling bad, I can go to the Lord with that. And that's what the Lord had taught me. You don't have to understand it or know it or feel good about it, but bring it to me. I'm your Father. Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's the place. That's the point of the music.
And I can tell you, if you're watching this and you haven't heard the song, it's not worth a listen. You have to listen to it, and it's just great. Apart from great performance, great vocals, it's the spirit of it, and it certainly captured me because I thought, yep, I know that. I'm not ready. Yep, Lord, I'll know that. So I know your time is short, and I'll just throw two more things at you. And
wait. Can I say one thing? I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
I think what I want people to know too is that this song is a part of a whole project. The whole project is called Journey. And so you are seeing little pieces of the journey. This is toward the beginning of it. And so at the end, if you get the whole thing, you would understand like what's happening. This is a snapshot into one part of the journey. And I think that you'll see this growth. And
there was I thinking you were about to say you were coming to London for the Queen's Jubilee celebrations. but you know, I mean, you say that about the record, but also it's something that you do on your social media platforms. You share your journey, so hopefully people will check you out there. But thank you for sharing your lunch with us. But two more things I want to throw at you.
Okay.
Firstly, for someone, I mean, of course you're where you are at the moment. And as I said, everything Maverick City is become the standard for people around the world. It's incredible seeing how the formats that you guys use in terms of your visuals is replicated all over the world, whether in Africa, whether in the Caribbean. But for someone I did look at Naomi, oh man, she's my idol. I really want to be like her. And God, won't you just lift me to where Naomi is? What would you say are three keys? There are many keys, I'm sure, in the years that you've been doing your journey. Three keys that you could offer someone who's praying that prayer right now with a desire to be where Naomi is with Maverick or something like that.
That's a good question. Thank you. I would say to keep the main thing, just worship God. That's my goal. My goal is not to impress people. My goal is not to make y'all feel good. Even though I want you to feel good, my goal is to worship God. I'll do it in full voice. I'll do it in half voice. If I'm cracking, if I'm tired, I'm going to just worship God. That's my goal. So keep the main thing. Second thing is be authentic. Be yourself. Even if you don't fully like everything about you yet, I think there's space for us. And I would say follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. Like really get acquainted with him, get to know him, and follow his leading, because I think he will place us exactly where we need to be. And so my hope is that if anybody wants to be like me, that they would not just want to be like me because I have a platform and I sing with Maverick City Music, but that they might see something in my life, right, where there's a balance and a peace and a joy that I've attained because I'm connected to the source of all those things. And so Yeah.
And so my final question for you, the Winans recorded a song years ago that says, if I can just make it up there, if I can just walk the streets fair and fair. And then it says, there finally be there finally be 1,000 things I want to say to the Lord. And then it says, I'll just begin to cry. He'll wipe the tears from my eyes. I'll say thanks. He'll ask why. This will be my reply. So my question to you, Naomi, I've seen an interview where you've been asked, what would you like to be remembered by? And you talked about your children and them knowing God. That was years back now. Now in 2022, with all that's happened, at the end of the story, when Naomi is 120 and you're still doing your exercises and walking up mountains and everything, but you decide, okay, Lord, I've had enough now, I want to rest. What would you like to be written about you? What would you like to be remembered for?
I hope that people would remember me for just loving Jesus and that he was first and foremost in my life, and that didn't stay in a tight space, but that it moved out and everybody felt that love as well. I don't need to be understood. I just hope that when people leave me, that they know that I loved him.
Wow. Naomi, thank you so much. And we hope that when we are back in the studios in Virginia Beach, you would kindly come visit us. And if you're afraid, just ask Dante Bo and Chandler. They've been and they survived, and I think they enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
You will enjoy it too, Naomi. So very quickly, when is the single out? When is the rest of the project out? And how can people keep up with you?
The single is out May 27th. I have another single June 24th, which is exciting, but the album drops on July 8th. Super excited. And you can follow me at Naomi Raine on Instagram, Naomi Raine on Facebook, and listen to all the car chats. We have a good time talking about some real honest stuff.
Okay, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us, and all the best as you go back to rehearsals. I've just taken up all your lunchtime.
Thank you. I'm fasting today, but that's okay.
Hey, praise the Lord. Regards to your team, and all the best on your tour, and all the best with the single. And as I said, we will definitely love to have your single as track of the week here on Premier Radio in London. And your people are familiar, so they know how to reach us. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So that was Naomi Raine from Maverick City, and there's a word of encouragement for you. If you are in a valley at the moment, don't count yourself out. God is with you, and he will lift you up. And the negative feelings you have are proof positive that actually you're alive, and you desire God. So reach out to him and check out Naomi's single. And I'll tell you that the song would be such a great catalyst to your change. We're back again next month. I'm going to leave you with this one from Mercy Chinwo. Don't forget, TPI is online. Check us out, tpizone.com, tpizone.com. You can watch episodes. If you missed an episode in your country on the TV station, just go online. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the rest. We're there. Back again on YouTube as well. And we are back again next month. God bless you. This year, TPI is celebrating its silver anniversary. TPI is able to air life-changing content because of the generous giving of CBN Africa partners. Would you consider partnering with us so we can continue to bring programming to you, your children, and grandchildren for another 25 years? Please visit our website and click on the donate button to become a part of what God is doing through TPI. No gift is too small. On behalf of the entire TPI team, I want to thank you for your support, for your prayers, your kind words for the last 25 years. And our hope is that TPI will continue to transform lives through the gospel of Jesus Christ one show at a time.